we have to shut up or like on or like what happened?
It's too late now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're
Dude.
watching Eclectica.
Oh, sorry, didn't realize you were watching. Hey.
Oh my goodness, another episode of Eclectica. We're so excited because you know what's coming up. Comic-Con, New York City Comic-Con. We've got Drew on the West Coast. We've got Dean Constantine on the East Coast. I am somewhere in cyberspace 7. And we have a special guest today. Dean, will you do the honors, sir?
Sure. We've had her up before, and she's a sci-fi author. We're excited to have her. We're going to be with her at the Comic-Con. Miss Cerece Rennie Murphy.
Round of applause, people. Thank you.
So, the Order of the Seers is awesome, and we're going to get into that. And it's a trilogy, correct?
Yes, it is. Yep,
Okay.
it's about a group of people who can see the future and they're enslaved for that ability. So, lots of action, adventure, suspense.
Nice.
Kind of cool.
Awesome. So first, let's kick into some comics, comic news. Obviously, Comic-Con is coming up. And I know, Comic-Con is known for so many different things. Do you guys feel that it's kind of getting away from comics, actually?
I'd say so.
All right.
It definitely did start. It's definitely gone afield from its roots. It started purely just like a comic book, graphic novel type of like almost meet and greet for different authors to their fans and whatnot. And then once all the movies jumped aboard, it's just kind of like spiraled into this otherworldly thing. And it's just turned into a phenomenon. I think we can call it that at this point. And parts of that are good. I'm not too keen on some of the other elements that have been added to it over the years. But for the most part, yeah, it's its own thing. It's like it has like thousands upon thousands of fans, and it's just this titan, it's not going to go away.
A lot of the cons, especially the smaller ones, they're run by the fans. These big ones, they're just there to make money. They're charging, $1,200 a table?
Something like that.
I don't know, man. I think Comic-Con is pretty strong to the comic thing. I don't know what she's saying, guys. You guys are making it seem to be like this phenomenon when you think about it, half of the floor is just straight classic comics, new artists, independent artists that are comics. I think that's the core and that's the base of everything. Everything else is just decorative. It just makes it intriguing for outsiders to be there.
They make up the preponderance, I'll say that, but when it comes to when you have whole groups of people that are exclusively at Comic-Con to see Twilight and the Hunger Games, it's it makes everything feel regimented. You have people that are there for the movies, you have people that are there for the comic book stuff. And
the video games, can't forget the video games.
The video games will kind of be peppered in, and then even peppered in between that, you'll have the anime fans in there as well, because they have everything there. It's it's gone from a comic book convention to more of a pop culture thing, which is fine because comic books have always been a part of pop culture. So
right, and it's still a lot of promotion. I mean, I was there last year. I still can't get that image of that gigantic Constantine billboard. And what happened to that, Cerece? That show got canned after what?
Yeah, I hear that.
A lot of it is promotion. They're taking advantage and they're promoting things.
Oh yeah, I've called it
American way. I don't mind it, but to say it's strictly a Comic-Con, no.
Its main purpose is to whet people's appetites for what's happening. You go there to see trailers, you go there to see previews, advanced screenings, all that good stuff. It's fine. It's it falls right into the culture. It's still to back up what Krystel said, it's the core of its fans, the audience that goes, are comic book fans. It just so happens that people that are into comics are also into Transformers and the Legend of the Seeker and all that other stuff. It's connected, but at the same time it's you have different groups that are there for different reasons.
And then the other side of the conversation, which we brought up on earlier shows, is that cosplay is a very important part of Comic-Con, but I feel that cosplay is highly underrated when it comes to it.
I'd say so.
So what do you guys got to say about that?
I definitely say so.
See, I can kind of see both sides of it, but a lot of people say, oh, cosplay's taking over the convention. Now it's not about comics anymore. But I feel like cosplay is just an extension of that expression. I feel like it's just another form of being transported into the world of comics, the world of fantasy, and making the experience of a con amazing. It's like imagining like a Renaissance fair without anyone dressed up and in character. Like, that's just not a Ren fair. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to see Comic-Con without anyone who cosplays, and that's what really like upsets me, is when people are like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm like, all right, you watch how much fun you have. There are nobody is dressed up wandering around and taking pictures. Then you'll
definitely. Yeah. I think they're
environment.
Yeah, they're lesser sung people. Cosplayers that are like hardcore, that will spend literally months putting together their outfits, they don't get nearly as much of the credit they deserve. And when it comes to the, I don't want to say essence, but just the aura and overall atmosphere of Comic-Con, this applies to pretty much any con. You could really put this to your gathering or festival. Mm-hmm. Like Krystel said, they add to the atmosphere. You're transported. You physically meet these characters at these conventions when you see one that's done well. If you see a good Jean-Luc Picard, you're gonna be like, dude, that's Jean-Luc Picard. That's freaking awesome. If you see a good like Gundam or Transformers, you're gonna like notice. It makes you like, just immerses you into the gathering. And to add to what Dean was saying, it also serves as promotional purpose. Because when you see, yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I just wanted to segue with that. Cerece, why bother? As a writer, like, why spend all this money, all this preparation, all this time? Does Comic-Con work for you? Does it? How does it fit with novels?
It absolutely does. I mean, because it's kind of like what you guys were saying. Everybody comes for a different reason. And I think as Comic-Con gets bigger and perhaps more commercialized, as a fan, you see people really sort of drilling down to what they love and selecting. And because there's so much there, you can do that. So, I mean, as a sci-fi writer, it's absolutely the sweet spot for me in terms of finding my audience, because there are like 150,000 people who have said, yeah, I like sci-fi, and they're all in one place for 4 days. So that's wonderful for me as a writer, you know, to be able, and particularly an independent author, to be able to sort of have this one place where my core audience is. But as a fan, I mean, a Comic-Con without cosplay, like, I couldn't even imagine that, because I don't really usually get outside my booth. So literally the cosplay is how I experience a lot of the con. People walk by my booth and I can take pictures and I can be a part of that. I mean, I'll never forget two things. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, as Dean knows. When somebody had R2-D2, I literally attacked that thing. Like, I think I almost broke it. Like, I had this picture of me. Oh my God. I mean, it was a surreal. I forgot that there was an operator. It didn't even matter. Like, R2-D2 was right there. And then another guy was playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. And literally, it was my first year, and I had the biggest smile on my face, because I walked up to him. I wasn't like, excuse me, sir. I was like, Obi-Wan! Like, I you know, blessed me with the Force. I mean, it was just amazing. So what I hear from readers is, yeah, some people, they only come because there's a movie premiere. Some people are like, yeah, I just can't wait to get my books and my comics and get out of here. And you can do all of that at the con. And
now, how do we actually have a shot of you signing one of your books?
Oh, God.
Cool.
That.
How do you do all that and stay focused on the business that you're there for?
It's just a balance. I mean, the thing about the con is, like, when I get into the cosplay, like, I'm a part of it. Mm-hmm. And it makes people feel comfortable with me, and it makes me feel comfortable with them. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I'm trying to sell books 1 minute, and then I'll say, oh my God, did you see that amazing Poison Ivy? And everybody turns, because we're all kind of there for the same beautiful thing, which is to get into whatever weirdness we love. And so I find that people aren't like, oh, excuse me, you know, focus. Can you sign my book? They're excited too. You know what I mean? So it's this beautiful thing that we share. I mean, it's my favorite part of being a sci-fi writer, is going to cons. It's my favorite part.
Nice. Dean, you were talking about some of the interesting people that will be on the panel. Gregory Garay, April Adams, Nala McGruger, and also we have Neil Gibson.
Fun.
That's 5 authors in 1 hour.
That's right. We're not having 6. So,
Now,
not having 6.
now, with all these people, what do you think is the streamlined consistency of them as far as writers or a consistent challenge, you think, as far as independent?
It's just making people aware of the work that we're doing. And it really kind of ties into what you guys were saying about how big Comic-Con is getting and, where's the focus? I mean, our panel is called The Next Big Thing, and it's about indie authors sort of creating brave new worlds on their own. And one of the reasons why we put it together is because, a lot of people are talking about, oh, we are so tired of these old tropes in storytelling, or, oh, we need diversity, or, oh, we need this and that. Like, independent authors are doing it and have been doing it for years. But the question is, how do we raise awareness about what we're doing? And, that's what the panel is going to be about, telling people what we're doing and also how they can do it if they have, a story that they want to write and get out there. And that's another great thing about sort of the cons is it's a chance to introduce yourself to that audience. So,
oh yeah, I like that a lot of the newer authors are kind of backing this idea. It's like I know at other cons that I've seen and been to, authors like Richard Kadri, Jim Butcher, he does the Harry Dresden novels that I'm sure you know about.
Yeah.
Like they're all about taking classic genres and tropes and then doing something different that hasn't been broached yet. I really dig that. And as a writer myself, I'm like, absolutely, this is what we need to do. So
yeah. And there's some great authors. I'm so honored to be with them. It's gonna be fun. They're doing great things.
Nice.
I'm a fan.
Well, as far as an independent artist and a self-publisher, correct?
Yep.
You got to promote, you got to push, you got to get it out there.
Yep.
And we see now this era of brands being everywhere to the point where it gets a little crazy. One of the things I'm thinking about is the show that was very dear to this show, The Walking Dead. And now we have Fear of the Walking Dead. Right before the show, we were talking about, now it's like there's also offshoot games. There's offshoot web series. There's a new web series that's going to offshoot from the Fear of the Walking Dead.
If there aren't diapers yet, it's not big. If they don't have Walking Dead diapers, then it's not big.
They have. If they don't have diapers, they will. They already have tons of shirts.
They're in the works.
Tons of t-shirts and posters and stuff. So we'll get there eventually.
Oh, man.
Near and dear. I'm kind of curious that you mentioned it that way, Seven, because I feel like on this show, you and Dean in particular have what I call a tumultuous relationship with the show at best. You don't hate it. You're fascinated with it, but you're not always happy with it. So it's like it kind of straddles that line.
You got to give that honest critique. You can't fall in love to the point you can't see what's in front of you.
You can't be a blind fan. You have to have problems with it.
Accept mediocrity. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wrong show. You want that stuff, you're on the wrong show.
Well, I have to say, again, I treat The Walking Dead separate from Fear of the Walking Dead.
Oh, man, it's a separate animal, man.
But the last 2 episodes were well written. The last 2 were really good so far.
Dean's not buying that.
He's not buying it.
He's not even on board. Not even trying to be.
Oh, man. Like, Krystel, do you have a take on those? Have you been able to check any of the Fear of the Walking Dead out?
I just...
Oh, you have to exhale.
Another...
That's a heated sigh.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? Okay, just enough is enough.
Uh-huh.
And if you're going to give us something new, let's make it different, not the same thing. I know a lot of hardcore fans that are like, oh my gosh, this is great, you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what is there not to understand? It's depressing, and it's about more sad people, and it's going to be really long, and no action is going to happen. That's pretty much what I've gotten into that loop of what expectations for The Walking Dead.
Post-apocalyptic downer?
And those are the worst people to debate with because it is, it's great, you don't understand.
You don't understand.
Give me something.
There's no reasoning with them.